What's up, guys? Welcome to Dude Push Start. Your algorithm has led you to my retro hunting channel. I like to go to flea markets, thrift stores, Goodwills, ARCs, secondhand stores, consignment stores, garage sales. I like to go out there in the wild and find things that I'm interested in. As you can kind of see in my background here, I am a fan of 80s and 90s toys, video games, comic books, the things that I had as a kid that kind of make me smile. And I like to get out in the wild and find them at a good deal. I am not a reseller. I do not buy things on the internet. I like to find them and physically hold them in my hand before I purchase something. Like I said, fan of video games, comic books, 80s and 90s toys. You'll see this kind of stuff that I try to find out in the wild. And then I bring it back to you and show you. So maybe, because of your algorithm, you're a fan of this stuff as well. So, you found my first episode. I hope you follow along, hit that like and subscribe button. We will get out there and find some stuff. Got a lot to go over today, so let's get to it. So there was my first trip recording into the Goodwill and the ARC, and I'll be honest, I didn't get much footage in the Goodwill. There was about 60 people in the store, and out of respect for those people to not get them on my camera, and also just nerves because I didn't want to talk to the camera. This being the first time that I've recorded in a store, I kind of just stopped at Goodwill. I'll show you some of the stuff I got there as well. I did get it afterwards. I put it on my camera, so you'll get to see some of the stuff I got in that first Goodwill. But in that ARC, you saw, there was this Star Wars board. It's from 1997. You can see the price on there, $299. There was all kinds of different prices. I think one of the new ones that I saw still wrapped, $250 for brand new from 1997. Buying board games can be a little bit risky. Going to the Goodwill or the ARC, they're usually taped up. I'm not one that's going to tear it open and go through and count the pieces, but this one did have the pewter pieces in it. I showed the prices on those as well, so that's usually what I'm looking for in board games. I'm probably never going to play Monopoly Star Wars, but this may be something that I display, put up on a shelf. You can see some of my Star Wars stuff there behind me, so I'm a Star Wars fan, so I'll put those up on the shelf. At least there's enough money in here that it would be playable, and then some of the motels and the houses are in there as well. So I think, as far as I can tell, it's complete, at least to a point where you could play it. So that was a good find for me. And then you saw those Pokemon books. I think I have the full set there. These are like half written, half graphic, so they've got good pictures in them and stuff too. So a kid would still be interested. I don't think I'm going to win any awards for price on these. These are probably about right, but I'll find what the set goes for, and I'll throw that up there for you guys to take a look at. But usually with books, I'm looking for graphic novels, comic books, stuff like that a little bit more interesting to read and follows the stuff that I like. So, but I'll throw up some of those videos of the other Goodwill, and we'll go through some of those as well. couple things from that Goodwill stop. I think they had a lot of toys that I was interested in. You got the Power Rangers. These are pretty neat, good to go on a shelf. Decent price at $2.99 when you pay 25 for it new. One thing, when you start to do this more and more, you will find yourself doing this. So didn't realize I already had it. Partially embarrassing. I already had this one, but like I said, not a reseller, so I guess I'll find another place for it to go. But yeah, I ended up with a double on that one. I guess don't sleep on sealed stuff. Goodwill's notorious for opening things, so if something's sealed, they'll usually open it. But this was a sealed box. It didn't sell very fast. I only saw one other sold on there for about $35, but obviously it has some value as something new. So don't sleep on new stuff when you go to the Goodwill or the Ark either, if you can come across it. And then obviously the big standout on that trip was this 20-inch Jack Sparks 2014 Mario. This is pretty damaged, right? I showed it on the clip. There was a crack along his face. I used some super glue. I need to clean it up with some sandpaper or something, but viced his face together. And obviously needs to be cleaned up. Haven't wiped him down too much, but $60-$70 used for $3.99. So again, not me to go out and sell, but if you're looking for stuff, you come across Nintendo Mario. And then again, I think this is a huge display piece. I think this looks awesome in a basement, around your old Nintendo, your Super Nintendo, whatever it is that you have. I think it's really cool to display. So this was a big find for me. I was really happy with this one. I walked past it twice before recognizing it as boot piled in a bunch of garbage. So I thought it was pretty cool.
We've been living in sin so long, all the feels are gone. Fella stopped me on the street last night, said everything's alright. Roller coaster, make it through the day upright. It seems your meal ticket is gone, but life goes on. I could never imagine something better. Yeah, right. Now you're cooking on high heat in the middle of the street. Roller coaster, take me to a better time. Let's go. All sing your high line with the roller coaster of life. Yeah. It's time to all choose your timeline on the roller coaster of life. You seem to easily forget how to place your bet. When everyday life gets you down, you gotta steal the crown. Got to own it. Don't bitch and moan about it, please. God forbid you scrape your knees, and it's nothing to sneeze at. Oh, I've told you over and over again. You gotta get both hands around it and make your own plans. Roller coaster, it's taking over. It's about time. Oh, oh, sing your high line on the roller coaster of life. You've got to all choose your timeline with the roller coaster of life.
So I know we're all busy, but this is kind of the importance of going, when you drive by a Goodwill, an Ark, a flea market, just drop in and see what's going on. You may only be there for a second, but the employee was actually filling up the toy section at this time. He had a big old yellow bin, actually 2 or 3 of them, and he kept just filling it up. So I want to stop for a second and talk about some of the stuff that I came across. I think you guys saw the box Funko Pops. I think the market for Funko Pops has kind of been doing this, but like I said, I don't sell anything. I just collect in most cases. So, it was cool to see that. And they were anime, which is some of the stuff I collect: One Piece, Dragon Ball Z, that stuff that I liked when I was a 90s kid. So, I saw this. This is a true Galoob toy, Micro Machines, Star Wars, Darth Vader. It doesn't have any of the pieces. If you look online, they can be pretty valuable if you have all the pieces with it. But, I thought it was pretty cool. Good display piece for the shelf. We'll go over some of those Funkos that I came across. And what I'm going to ask from you guys on this, I don't think there was, nothing major in some of these, right? But when you're watching me go through and you're looking at me, take a look in the background and see if there's anything that I missed. Point out stuff that you know about, that you like, that you've seen. Look up prices yourself and tell me, what you come across. Stuff like this. I paid $10 for this. It's a 2-piece. I think it comes out to about $30. I'll throw the price up on the screen right here, but pretty good pieces. Like I said, and whether you keep them in the box or take them out. But we're going to get to something here in a second. And like I said, if you see something in the background, point it out to me, because there's stuff I'm going to miss, right? You can actually see that street shark right there, Slamu in the background with the boxing gloves. I found that at that arc that I'm in right there. And I missed it about 2 or 3 times. And, I may have never seen it. That is a true, I'll grab it real quick. That is a true 1995 Street Shark. I know they remade all of them. I've got a couple extras that are remakes up there, but this is true, and you'll find them. But sometimes you'll miss stuff. So if you see something in there, point it out to me. Leave in the comments. Tell me what you found. So we'll keep going, and I'll point out what I miss. Look for something in these next couple seconds. See if you catch it yourself. Did anything stand out to you? Let's just throw a quick freeze frame in there. So tell me down below if you saw that Brooke Funko Pop there. Obviously some crazy values on eBay for what you would pay at a thrift store. But, I was kind of mad at myself. I didn't get it on camera, but I was glad that you could see it in the camera, that it was on that shelf there. So, I did end up picking it up. Some damage to the box, but you can see there $4.99. So, you can still find some really cool deals, really cool items that have some value to them. Like I said, damage to the box. I don't know if this has any value or not. You've kind of seen those prices spike, go up and down. Not terribly worried about it in my situation, but it's kind of cool to see box Funko Pops in there for $5 price tag when you're now paying $15, $16 to get them at the store. Another thing that I'd come across was this neat Ready Player One key set. Kind of a cool display piece. Ready Player One is one of my favorite books, still to this day. And then some of the other stuff that I'd come across in that Goodwill and that arc. I'll show you a Mario Kart Monopoly. I told you about how I feel about board games. That Mario Kart did have all the pieces in it. If I can get this to focus on it, did have all the pieces. And so some of those are pretty cool. Good pieces put on a shelf is Mario Kart, if that's something that you're into. And then, had all 4 of those pieces. So pretty cool there as well. I've really started looking for the bigger figures as well. There's this giant Luke Skywalker here. I think they kind of stand out in a showroom or a toy room. You can have a lot of little figures like we were talking about with these little pieces here, or Mario Karts, or any of the little figures that you can find. But to find something this big, it can really kind of be a staple piece and really kind of set out your shelf, so you can have the taller stuff in the back, shorter stuff in the front, and really give you some depth too. So pick this up as well. I thought that was kind of neat. Well, that's going to wrap it up this week here at Dude Push Start. We appreciate you guys tuning in. If you like what we're doing, if you like this kind of stuff, please hit that like and subscribe button. I'm going to try to release a video or 2 a week. Maybe show off some of my collection. Went to the flea market this weekend, so hopefully I can put that video together as well. But follow us. We're putting together an Instagram. We're going to try to keep up on that. Put some shorts and reels out there as well. Keep track of where we're at. So if you like this stuff, hit that like, subscribe button. Stay tuned with us. Let us know what you think. And we will talk to you guys soon. Be safe out there and make sure that you wipe down your finds.